the future. His speech is from the Entertaining Speech Manual, project number 1. It is a 7 to 9 minute speech. The title of Dean's speech is, I Should Have Been a Poet. Dean Miller.
Part of my speech I gave a few weeks ago and ran out of time, and I didn't get down to the real important part of the speech. I got out of high school, I was 16 years old. 2 days later I had volunteered for the military, and after a very long train ride I woke up in Fort McCulloch, Alabama. Now, June, July, and August is not a good time to go through basic training in the mountains of Alabama. Trust me. But the main post was beautiful, but the recruit training was up in the mountains, and it was they put 12 by 12 cement floors, and then it had been a tent city. But the tents had worn out, so now they were black tar paper, which didn't breathe very well. To show you how bad conditions was, back then they had a national news commentator, and his son had been at Fort McClellan and died of pneumonia. And every night when he closed his program, he said, if your son's overseas, write him. If he's at Fort McClellan, pray for him. And but I had a wonderful girlfriend in high school, and the next thing I knew was she'd taken a job in Dallas, Texas with American Airlines, so she could get free tickets so we could get together once in a while, which was very thoughtful on her part. But the main thing was money. In those days, recruits made $56 a month. I sent $30 home to my mother. It was automatically taken out, so I had less than $1 a day spending money. So this free ticket to Dallas was wonderful, but took some money. I started out by having a guy that was really successful in gambling teach me, and the blanket had to be tight. You didn't roll the dice, you slid the dice, and you didn't bank them off the deal. Just about the time I was getting this down pat, here's a big MP come in, took our ID, and told us that we would have a minimum of 3 weeks weekend KP. So now I get on the bus and go clear down to the main post, because they had a canteen, and once a week you could do a free 3-minute call. So I called my girlfriend and told her wouldn't be coming, and that. But when I walked in, they were having a poetry contest, and $50 war bond. Gee, that's as much as I made a month. So about an hour later, they announced that Private Albert Dean Miller, and I went up, and I'd won the contest. Now, the last time I gave this talk, I forgot to give the poem, and the poem went like this. How did it go? Once upon a midnight dreary, as I knelt there weak and weary, with my last and only dollar lying there upon the floor, how I prayed aloud to heaven that my eyes might see a 7 and my wrist might twist 11. Only that and nothing more. Filled with fearful comprehension and of thoughts I dare not mention, I beheld those ivories rolling boldly on the floor. As I heard their sprightly clinking, I just couldn't keep from thinking, to be with me, nevermore. I was thinking about my Alice on a weekend trip to Dallas. I could take her to the palace for a lousy 7, nothing more. Then I heard a tapping, someone boldly rapping, banging with a nightstick on the barracks door. Then an MP, big and bony, with his manner cold and stony, shouted out, "Now this baloney, it must cease forevermore." When the MP's wrath descended, all my chance to win was ended. In my life my heart will never be mended. What's this life worth living for? Gone now is my day with Allison, the big old trip to Dallas. MP, with your heart so callous, blast your soul forevermore. That was my speech. But now the next day, the airborne showed up, recruiting people. Gee, they had uniforms that fit, they had shiny boots. But the big thing, they give $50 a month disaster pay. Wow, I could double my salary. So I called my girlfriend and said, I won't be coming to Dallas, I'm going to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And she told me where to go and how to get there. But 3.5 years later, I'm out of the service and enrolled as a freshman at Nebraska. My girlfriend was a junior. And she had a pretty high-powered boyfriend. His name was Johnny Carson. And but I had to take majoring in education. I had to take an English lit class, and one of our projects was you had to write a poem. And I said, wow, I got it already made. Then the instructor says, look, if you copy anything that's ever been published, not only do you fail the grade, you fail the class. And I got to thinking, my poem had been in the Stars and Stripes of Military Magazine. So I had to write a new poem. And the poem went like this. Once upon a midnight, oh no, that's the original poem. The night was dark and dreary. A storm was drawing nigh. The vivid streaks of lightning flashed in the white laden sky. And out behind the woods there prowled a very vengeful man. A blood-stained club was firmly grasped within his strong right hand. Like a specter from the unknown world, he glides upon the foe. With a murderous gleaming in his eye, he made ready for the blow. The club was raised, and then it fell with a sickening thud. And there upon the cold, damp ground lay murdered a potato bug. And so every time there was a family gathering, why, little kids would come up and say, either Uncle Dean or Grandpa Dean, whichever one was proper, and they'd say, could you tell us about the bug? So I told that story a lot of times. And a week ago, my granddaughter, who lives in Bonneville, Utah, which is a suburb of Omaha, and her very successful husband, 2 beautiful young daughters, came to visit. They came in late Friday night, and the next morning at breakfast, she said to the girls, she said, well, after breakfast, we'll see if Grandpa can tell us about the bug. And I started thinking, gee, after all these years, and they still remember about that, if I had concentrated on poetry instead of sports and trying to get a PhD and trying to get a man on the moon and Super Bowls and all that, if I had just concentrated on writing poems, I might have been the next Shakespeare.